Hello everyone, I'm Nelson and welcome to my channel, The Nell Be Light. Well, it's a beautiful, crisp winter day, actually January 16th, and I came out in the afternoon because I am determined to rebuild my technique and fundamentals of hitting the forehand. Uh, Recent practice sessions, I'm hitting 50% more balls into the net than I have ever hit before. So I'm determined to figure out what's going on with that and breaking it down to the very minute technique and rebuild my stroke production. So this is just part of the journey that I'm really enjoying. It's actually week 13 post hip replacement, and I'm doing very well. Uh, so I'm taking advantage of this opportunity on this day. It's a beautiful, clear day. However, it's only about 42 degrees. There's little to no wind, so it actually feels good out. So I've set up some cones on the other side of the net, about halfway between the baseline and the service line, and placed them about 7 feet apart from one another. And that'll be my target zone to hit, try to hit at least that deep and in between those two cones. I'm hitting over the higher part of the net, so that's why I chose to hit down the line. Also, since the corner court is shaded, I'm not hitting cross court, therefore it'll be easier for me to collect the balls. So to start, I'm working on my unit turn, taking the racket back, and also the follow through more completely, squaring my shoulders up with the baseline and allow my arm to swing fully through.
So I'm realizing some improvements today. One key thing that I started to pick up on that I kind of forgot about is my footwork. When I'm hitting from a neutral stance, my weight was shifting incorrectly. And what I was working on today is when I'm from a neutral stance of bang here, I was pushing off too soon for one thing, and then the other thing is that in order to keep balance for my rotation to come through, I'm right-handed, so I need to put I say 80% of my weight on my left and 80 to 100% really on my left, and lift this right leg up off the ground in some way. Or even if I'm doing that the weight is released from the right leg. If I'm hitting from a semi-open or an open stance, more of the weight remains on the right side. So if I decide to go semi-open, I go to split step semi-open, now this weight is, well, the leg is carrying majority of the weight here, and I'm rotating around. Same thing with an open stance. The right side open stance. That has made a tremendous difference with me being able to rotate and transfer my weight behind the ball. The other thing I was working on today is focusing on not only watching the ball to contact, however, my contact spot on the ball has been right on the equator in the middle, and then I was kind of trying to roll over the top. And today what I was working on is making contact with the square racket, but focusing on the bottom or the bottom half of the ball so that I can come in and this edge of the racket being lined up behind the ball, because too many times I was allowing the head of my racket to come around too soon trying to hit down the line, and actually it was creating more side spin or somewhat of a knuckleball. So today I'm noticing, because I'm focusing here and focusing on trying to come up from the bottom of the ball with a more square racket, and maybe whatever the degree for it you would call that, let's say 10% or so forward edge, and extending, coming through there, and I was noticing more of a forward rotation rather than a side rotation. Again, the other thing is focusing on trying to keep my eye on a contact point. Combination with that, I've been hitting too many balls into the net. So again, I'm working with the ball machine today. However, hopefully that'll translate to my practice sessions with Lonnie and Eric, who I'm primarily training with during this off season right now. So hope is, oh yeah, and then the other thing is a trunk rotation. I feel like I'm doing better about turning this rear shoulder and coming around. So this left, I'm engaging, and I'm not as often dropping this and doing this, which sometimes I can pull it off because, well, I guess like that. But now at least I feel like I'm getting more of an engagement from the left to create more of this trunk rotation. So all of those things, I'm seeing indications of improvement. I'll try to pull up an old video and compare before and after. So what's today? Today is January 15th, I think. So things are coming along. I think this is week either 13 or 14th post hip replacement surgery. So I'm gaining more flexibility, more strength in this hip, allow me to bear more weight, taking some short, quick steps. And so I'm noticing the improvement day by day. But the work goes on. The job's not done yet.